Hello everybody, welcome to the third and final video on data interpretation from CareerRide.com. The topics that we are going to deal with in today's video are line graph and tabular data. Again, these two are very important topics from the point of view of a placement test and entrance exams, both, as all of you know. Because if you find 3 to 4 questions from the topic of data interpretation in your paper, you know that you will find at least 2 questions from these topics. And all of these questions can be very scoring if you just know how to approach the question properly and how to solve it effectively. And that is exactly what we are going to learn once again in today's video. So make sure that you are absolutely focused because we are going to learn this topic in a very interesting and easy manner. Let's start. Okay, so for the purpose of today's video, let us directly get into the questions. Because whatever basics, tips or tricks you require to solve these questions from data interpretation, we have already learned them in the previous videos. The first video we did was the video on pie charts, where we discussed a lot of basics, tips, tricks. We even discussed how to look at the options and mark your right answers without having to actually go through the lengthy calculations. Then the second video that we did was again the video on bar graphs, where we again discussed a lot of simple basic tips and tricks that could help you solve the questions. So rather than wasting your time again repeating the same things, I would prefer to jump directly into the questions and see some important varieties of questions coming from line graph and tabular data. But if you're really serious about data interpretation, I would highly recommend that you watch these two videos first. The first video you should watch should be the video on pie chart, and the second video you should watch should be the video on bar graph, and then you should be coming to the video on line graph. You will be very easily able to understand and solve everything that I'm discussing here. Okay, otherwise also there's nothing difficult as such, but understanding these two videos will make your things quicker. Okay, let us start with the questions from this video now. The following line graph shows the ratio of girls to boys appearing for class 10 board exam in rural India. In which year or years the girls appearing in the exam outnumbered the boys. Okay, so now first of all we have to understand what is the question asking me. The word here outnumbered means more, were more than. So for which years the girls were more than the number of boys in the class 10th board exam. Okay, now this graph shows you, what does it show you? It shows you the ratio of girls. Look at the title, ratio of girls to boys appearing in class 10 board exam. This is a very easy question, and I guarantee that you can answer this question within 5 seconds without having to actually go through any calculations. Just you have to know what is being given and asked in the questions. Okay, so pay attention. I don't want that any one of you should skip or miss these type of questions, because all of these are very scoring questions, and missing them out would mean missing out on an opportunity. Okay, the question says this is the ratio of girls to boys appearing in class 10th board exam, and the data is given to you for some years. Look at the x-axis, 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15. For these 5 years the data is given to you. Now there were some girls, see I've started writing. Okay, there were some girls and there were some boys who appeared for the exam. For 2011, the number of girls to the number of boys is the ratio, and this ratio is what? This ratio is 0.45, right? This is the ratio for 2011 that is given to us in the question. Now we know that if this ratio is less than 1.45 is less than 1, my common sense, common mathematics tells me that this is less than 1, which means the denominator here is bigger, right? If something is less than 1, it means the figure in the denominator is bigger, right? Which means that the number of girls is what? The number of girls is less than the number of boys. If the number of girls is more than the number of boys, then what would happen? In that case, this ratio R, whatever the value it is, it would be greater than 1. So that is exactly what we have to find out in this question. Do we need any calculations even? No, we don't require any calculations. Let us just go through the graph. So see, for 2011 it is 0.45. It means my denominator is bigger, which means that the number of boys is more. So this cannot be the year that I'm looking for. 2012, what happened? Again, it is 0.85. It means this is less than 1, which means my denominator was bigger, which means number of boys were more. This cannot be my option. 2013, 1.05. This is greater than 1, right? This is greater than 1. So it means that the number of girls was more. It means that the numerator was bigger, right, than the denominator. So this is my one of the options. 2014, 0.95. Again, denominator is bigger. This is not my option. 2015, 1.25. Here the numerator is bigger. That is why the ratio is bigger. Okay. So there are 2 years. Okay. So there are 2 years now. One is 2013 and one is 2015, when the number of girls appearing for the exams now outnumbered the number of boys, right? So what were those 2 years? Those 2 years were 2013 and 2015. Now this is one way to ask this question, and you see you did not require any calculation here. You could have just looked at the graph and marked your right option. Okay, so this is one way of asking this question, which years it happened. They could even ask you how many times it happens, number of years, how many number of years it happened. It happened for 2 times, right? So it happened for 2 years that the number of girls outnumbered the boys, right? Very easy question, nothing difficult here, very easy. You can solve this kind of a question in just 5 seconds. Don't skip it, don't miss it, don't lose out your mark. Okay, now coming to the second part of this line graph question, and it says, in which year were the number of girls minimum proportionate of the number of boys? Now again, a very easy question that you don't even need to solve. You don't have to do any calculations here. You can just mark the right option by looking at the graph if you know what is being asked in the question. And what is asked to you is the minimum proportionate. So you have to know the right meaning of this word minimum proportionate here. Okay. So what is given to you in the question? It is given that this question is actually about a ratio of the number of girls to the number of boys appearing for the board exams every year. Let us demonstrate it by R. Okay. And these number of girls G and B, these are proportions of each other. They are proportionate to each other in some way, right? So when the value of number of girls is minimum, when the value of number of girls is minimum in comparison to the number of boys, that is when it will be minimum proportionate. And when would that happen? When the value of this ratio R is minimum, right? When would this happen? When would the number of girls be minimum proportionate? When the value of R is minimum, right? And for which year it is minimum? Let us look at the graph. For 2011, the value is 0.45, which is the smallest out of all these values, right? So basically, it is for the year 2011 that the value is 0.45, that is minimum, and the girls are minimum proportionate here, right? Now this is one way of asking this question. The second way of asking this question is, for which year are the boys minimum proportionate? Can you answer this question? Just try to look at the graph yourself. Now see, what is asked to you is, when is the boys minimum proportionate? That is, the number of boys in comparison to the number of girls has to be minimum, right or wrong, right? So for which year it is happening? It is happening in the year when the value of G upon B, the ratio, is highest, right? It means the value of R has to be highest. It is for that year that the number of girls are highest and the number of boys are lowest, right? And that is when the boys are minimum proportionate. It is happening for which year? It is happening for the year 2015, when the value was 1.25. Anything difficult here? Nothing difficult here. It is very easy question. Just if you are confused anywhere, just pause the video here, and if you need, just replay this much part of the video. Things will become very clear to you, but it is extremely important that you know the meaning of these terms, minimum proportionate and such terms, correctly, right? Okay, so now coming to the third question based on this line graph. If the number of boys appearing for the exam in 2014 was 500, what was the number of girls appearing for the exam that year? Again, a very easy question because everything is given to me here itself. It is given to me that the graph is a ratio of number of girls to the number of boys, and the value for 2014 is what? You just look at the graph. The value for 2014 is 0.95, right? So what I can do is I can just place the value of number of boys 500. This is equal to 95 upon 100, right? So what is the number of girls from here? G is equal to 95 into 5. Simple multiplication. This is equal to 475. This is the number of girls appearing for the board exams in the year 2014. Very easy. All that you have to know is that this is the ratio that you have to make use of, and you can solve this kind of a question very easily in 30 seconds because you have to just carry out this simple multiplication, right? Let's move on to the next question. Okay, now coming to the fourth part of this question. What was the percentage increase in the number of girls appearing in the exam from 2012 to 2013? Okay, so now 2012 and 2013, I know that the ratios are given to me in the question. Okay, and the ratios, let us assume that for 2012 the number of girls is G1, number of boys is V1. So the ratio becomes G1 upon V1 and the value is what? From the graph it is 0.85. For 2013, let us assume number of girls G2, boys B2. The value is 1.05 from the graph. Now for me to be able to find the increase in the number of girls, I should be able to find G2 minus G1, right? But if I look at the question, I see that G1 is not given to me, B1 is not given to me, G2 is not given to me, B2 is not given to me. So there is no way that I can find the number of girls here for each of these years, right? Which means I cannot find this difference. If I am not able to find this difference, I cannot find the number of what is the percentage rise, right? So in this case, now look at the options. Can option A be the right answer? I am not able to determine, I am not able to find out. This is the dead end for me for the question, right? So my option cannot be A, my option cannot be B, none of these. No, it cannot be these because I'm not able to find the answer at all. So my right option would be option D, can't be determined, right? Okay, now coming to the second variety of line graphs that you will find from this topic, okay, and the questions based on them. The question says the line graph given below shows profit percentage of two e-commerce companies in the given countries in the year 2018. Okay, now let us look at the graph. Here we see that this graph is of the type where two or more lines is what you will see in the graph. Okay, in this particular graph there are two companies, company A and company B, that are operating in countries like, look at the x-axis, India, Singapore, Japan, Dubai, Thailand, and these companies while operating they make some profit, and the profit percentage is given to you, okay, in the graph. Now let's read the question further. The question asks me, first part is profit earned by A in India is 1,75,000 USD. Find its income. Now this is a very easy type of a question. All that you have to do is just place the values, okay? But here is something that I have to alert you about. The alert is that in this type of graphs where you are given two or more lines, picking up the data, right data, might be something that you might commit the mistake with. So just be very careful with that. Otherwise the questions are pretty simple, okay? So now it is given to me that India, okay, the green line is this, the first data, 17.5 is the profit percentage of company A in India, okay? Now what is the profit? Profit is my total income minus total investment that I have made. This is very simple mathematics that all of us understand, okay? And if I have to find out the profit percentage, it just means the profit that I have earned divided by the total investment into 100. This is just nothing but simple mathematics. If it is anything tough, most of the times you will find these things, if any formula is to be used, they might give it to you along with the question in the form of notes itself. So pay attention to that also. Otherwise, most of the times it will be very simple things which you will be able to understand very easily, whether from the notes or otherwise. Okay. Now let us start just placing the values in the formula. Okay. And we will be able to solve this question very, very easily. So I know that I have to find out the profit. Okay. So, but what do I have? I have the profit percentage, right? So 17.5 is my profit percentage. What is the profit that the company has made in India? It has made a profit of 1,75,000 USD, right? So divided by total investment into 100, right? Can I find the value of total investment from here? Very, very easy. Total investment is equal to what? It is equal to 1,75,000 divided by 17.5 into 100, isn't it? So if I just reduce this, this becomes 10 and 3 zeros into 100. So this becomes 100,000 USD is my investment, right? And now it is given to me, my profit is what? It is 1,75,000. So I just have to place the values in the formula 2. So what is my total income? From here the income becomes my total investment, that is 100,000 plus the profit that I have earned is what? The profit I have earned is 1,75,000. It is given to me in the question. Anything difficult here? Just you look at it yourself and tell me. It is just 11,75,000 USD. This is my answer. Simple mathematics, nothing difficult at all. All that you have to do is you have to just look at the graph carefully and don't get scared that so much of data is given to you. Okay. Okay. So now coming to the second part of the question. If company A and B invested same amount in Dubai, find the ratio of their income from the country. Okay. So now what do we know from the notes? We know that profit is equal to total income minus total investment. What does this tell me? It tells me that income is equal to investment, total investment plus profit, right? I know this. Now what do I have to find out? I have to find out income of A is to income of B, right? So investment of A is what? Let us assume it is X. Profit is what? From the graph, let us see it. Profit of A in Dubai is what? It is 18%. 18% of what? 18% of the investment that they have made. So 18% of X, right? Now coming to B, income of B is what? Investment that they have made. And it is said to me in the question that the investments that the two companies make are equal. So this is also X. And profit is what? Profit is some percentage of the investment that you have made. Again coming back to the graph. For Dubai, company B makes a profit of 14%. So 14% of X, right? So can I write this as 118% of X upon 114% of X, right? From here what happens? X gets cancelled. What do I get? I get 118 upon 114, right? If I solve the percentage mark, right? From here, can I reduce it further into lower to lower down the fraction? Yes, I can. 2 5s are 2 9s are, okay. 2 5s are 10, 2 7s are 14. So this becomes 59 is to 57, which means the ratio of income of A to the ratio of income of B from Dubai is what? It is nothing but 59 is to 57. Anything difficult here? Not at all. A very, very easy question. All that you have to do is just apply what is already given to you and just apply what is known to you. Okay, so now let us move on to some questions from the tabular data format of the data interpretation. Okay, now I have taken a very specific format of data interpretation, that is tabular format of data, because if you see all other videos on data interpretation by CareerRide, that is the video on pie charts and then the video on bar graph, then the video, this particular video on line graph, then you will be able to solve most of the questions from tabular data also. They will not be difficult for you at all. But I want to speak to you about this specific variety of question because here you can see that there are some blanks given to you in the table and you are expected to fill them up as you solve the questions. And it is really important to talk to you about this variety of question, because if you have not seen this variety of question well in advance, you might just get overwhelmed, and that is not something I really want for you. I want you to be very, very easy in the exam, and that you should be able to approach the questions very easily. Okay, so let us solve this variety of questions. The question here says, study the data about the salary breakup of employees at various levels and answer the questions. So if you look at this table is about actually a breakup of the salaries of employees at various levels. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. If you see the table, these are the employees at various levels. Okay, and it is given to you that their salary has got various components. Okay, it is gross salary, HRA, special allowance, professional tax, and then everything works out to net salary. What is the total? How does it work out? It is given to you in the notes here, and in most of the questions this will be given to you. So then my notes tell me that net salary, that is the last column of this table, is equal to gross salary plus HRA plus special allowance minus the professional tax. So this is the relation between the given items here. Okay, gross salary plus HRA, come to the table, gross salary plus HRA plus special allowance minus professional tax is equal to the net salary. This is what my notes tell me, and these notes will be given to you along with the questions. Okay, now let us see what does the question ask me. The question asks me, if special allowance for level 2 employees is 80% of the gross salary, what is their gross salary? So if I see the column, the row 2 of this table, I see that this is level 2 employees. Okay, the gross salary is not mentioned here. HRA is 8,000. Special allowance, it is told to me in the question that it is 80% of the gross salary, and then the professional tax, and everything after the computation works out to 25,800 rupees. Okay, now I'm expected to find out the gross salary for the level 2 employees. Okay, so now let us go by what is given to me in the notes. Net salary, that is 25,800 is equal to what? The gross salary, which I don't know at the moment, so I'll assume it to be x plus the HRA, that is 8,000, plus special allowance. Special allowance, it is given to me in the question, is what? 80% of the gross salary. So 80% of x I'll assume it to be, because I've assumed the gross salary to be x, minus the professional tax. Why do I take minus here? Because it is given to me in the notes in the question, right? So 2500 is equal to this. Now from here, what do I get? I get simply 180% of x is equal to what? It is equal to 25,800 plus 200 minus 8,000. First is this thing that I get, and this is equal to what? This is equal to 26,000 minus 8,000. This is equal to 18,000, right? So 180% of x is equal to 18,000. This is the first thing that I get. So let me equate it. 180%, I can write it as 180 upon 100 of x. So multiplied by x. Can I solve this? I can solve this very, very easily. 1800. So from here, what does the value of x come out to be? X is equal to 10,000 rupees, right? So this is the gross salary of the employees at level 2, and this is exactly what is asked to me in the question. Easy, nothing difficult here. All that you have to do is you have to go by what is given to you in the notes, and then these are just simple calculations that you have to do. Okay, let us move on to the next question. Okay, now let's read the second part of the question. If net salary for level 1 is double the gross salary, find the special allowances paid to the employees at this level. See, I won't call this question easy. I would call this even easier than the first one. because all that you have to do is simple addition and subtractions, nothing else. We are talking about the level 1 employees. That is the first thing we have to know. Okay. So now it is given to me that in the question, the net salary is double the gross salary. Okay. So gross salary is 9,000 here. It means my net salary is what? It is 18,000. And my notes tell me that net salary is means 18,000 is equal to gross salary is what? 9,000 plus HRA, that is 5,000, plus special allowances, I don't know, let me say X, minus the professional tax, that is 200. Is it possible for me to find the value of X from here? Very, very easy. If I solve this, I get X is equal to what? 18,000 minus 14,000, that is 4,000, plus 200, that is 4,200. I don't even have to make the whole calculations. I can just do it orally. Okay. Because I have to, the only thing is I have to pay attention to the notes that are given to me and the values that are given to me. Otherwise, the computations are not difficult at all. Okay. So the special allowances here are what? They are 4,200 as I have filled in the table now. Okay. Let's move on to the third one. Okay. So now coming to the third part of the question. It says special allowance paid to level 2 employees is what percent of the special allowance paid to level 1 employees. Again, a very, very easy question. Just the application of your percentages concept. Okay. Now, level 1 and level 2 is something that we have to deal with in the table, and the column that I'm interested in is special allowances. Okay. So now what I've done is the figures that we found out, the blanks that we filled, I've written those figures in the red font now. Okay. So this 4,200, this 18,000, 8,000, 10,000 is what we computed. These were the blanks earlier. Okay. For the purpose of computation, for the ease of understanding this. Okay. Now what is asked to me? It is asked to me that the special allowance for level 2 employees. So the level 2 employees is what? 8,000. Special allowance for level 2 employees is 8,000. I can see from the table, right? And then the special allowance for level 1 employees is what? It is 4,200, and it is asked to me this 8,000 is what percent of 4,200. This is what basically the question is, right? Can I solve this? Very, very easily, because I know how to solve percentages. So 8,000 is what percentage of 4,200? So 8,000 divided by 4,200 into 100, right? So what does this work out to? It works out to 8,000 upon 42. Can I reduce this? Yes. 2 ones are 2 2s are 21, and this is what? This is equal to 4,000, right? So basically, if you solve this, this will work out to 190.4%. So the special allowance for level 2 is approximately 190.4% of level 1. Special allowance for level 1. This is very, very simple, nothing difficult at all here. Okay. And for these type of questions, you should also look at the options that are given to you. Okay. And I have explained to you in my previous videos on pie chart and bar graphs how to make the options work for you. Okay. That is why you must see those videos also, so that you know how to make the options work for you, right? How to just scan through the options and find out which can be your right answer. Many a times the options are very, very supportive, and you must make use of them in that case. Okay. Let's move on to the next question now. Okay. And now coming to the last and the final question of this video. If there are 3 employees working at level 4, what is the ratio of amount spent by the company on HRA to special allowance? Okay. So level 4, which means this row, and there are 2 columns that I'm interested in now. And they are HRA, this column, and the special allowance column. Okay. And if I see the intersection, this is the figure of HRA for level 4, and this is the figure for special allowance for level 4. Okay. So HRA upon special allowance. Okay. This is equal to 8,000 upon 10,000. This is what is given to me in the question already. But the question also tells me that there are 3 employees working at the level 4, and I have to find out the ratio, taking into consideration that I am talking about all the 3 employees. Okay. So what would happen if I have to talk about the special allowance for 3 people? Then 10,000 into 3, and this HRA for 3 people, it means into 3, right? So ultimately this 3 and 3 is going to get cancelled. What I'm actually concerned about is the actual figure only, and my ratio in this case would work out to what? It would work out to 2 4s are 8, 2 5s are 10. The ratio would work out to 4:5 only, whether I take 1 employee, whether I take 2 employees, whether I take 3 employees. Why? Because ultimately this 3 and 3 or 2 or 2, whatever is the number of employees, it is going to appear both in numerator and denominator, and it is going to get cancelled the way we cancelled 3 and 3 from numerator and denominator. So what you have to understand here in this type of questions is that this information, if there are 3 employees, this information is extra information given to me in the question, just to make the things, just to stretch the things. Use your mathematical mind, because these things do not have a direct impact on the question. They are not going to have an impact on the answer, okay? But they are given to you to check your mathematical mind and see if you are able to use them correctly in the question or not, okay? So my ratio here for HRA is to special allowance is what? It is 4:5. The question is very, very easy, nothing difficult here at all. Just don't get overwhelmed with the information that is given to you, okay? So with this, we come to the end of this video on line graph and tabular data. And I sincerely hope that this series of 3 videos on data interpretation is going to really help you in solving the questions from this chapter in a very easy and effective manner in your placement tests and entrance exams also. If you have found today's video useful, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and you share it with your friends also. And we will be releasing a lot of new videos also on quantitative aptitude and logical reasoning. If you want to stay updated, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss upon those videos. I'll see you with a new video very soon. Till then, bye-bye and take care.